Hello, I'm the official name raider. My job is to go through the first page of Google, see what nicknames the internet comes up with, and then judge accordingly. And usually I provide my recommendations and favorites at the end. Today we're going over the Ekans and Arbok line. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but it feels the need to show this, so I guess we already have something to look forward to thanks to this guy. Okay, so for starters, Slithers. That actually kind of reminds me of an episode of The Simpsons where they're making fun of Harry Potter, and Mr. Burns' assistant Smithers is a snake and he's named Slithers. So for that reason, I don't hate it, but again, I know that was an accident and he didn't intend for that connection. Serpent, that's literally dumb. Again, that's the equivalent of naming your Raticate rat or your Ponytop pony. Naming your Pidgeotto bird. How about that? Sir Hiss, King Hiss, don't really care, but at the same time I could also see that kind of being a name that someone would use for a children's video game. So it's like, I don't know, in a weird way I could actually see someone using that, maybe not for a Pokemon. I still don't think they're good nicknames, especially not for Arbok, but at the same time, if you told me this was in a game, I would believe you. Medusa, that's one you're probably gonna see, and like, that works, it fits. I don't care for it. That's also kind of a gender-specific thing. You could ignore the gender if you wanted to, but you're probably going to see this a few more times. Okay, Starbox I actually kind of like. I think it's stupid, but I like the mental image of the anime where instead of it being like Starbox, and I just think that's a funny thing to think about. So as that result, I don't hate it entirely. I don't remember seeing Slurm before. I don't care for it as a nickname, but I'm going to acknowledge it, I guess, for at least being weird enough to get my attention. And while we're at it, let's immediately scroll down, and you're going to see a lot of stupid shit like this. Cobra. Snake. We get it. It's the name backwards. Shut up. You're not clever. Basilisk, that's one you're going to see a lot. Again, I don't think it's that interesting, because again, that's just the name of an animal, so it's kind of there, but people like the word basilisk because of Harry Potter. Salazar, you could also use Slytherin if you wanted to. This could be applied to just any snake Pokemon in general. It doesn't matter. Okay, I gotta make fun of this guy. Basil, short for basilisk. You know what basil is? It's a seasoning. It's not short for basilisk. It's a thing you put on your food. Alright, this I also like, just not even as a nickname, I just think it's funny, the idea of calling a snake a nope rope. So because that makes me laugh, I don't hate it entirely. I don't think it's a good nickname, but it made me laugh, so there you go. I guess we can comment on these two together. Monty Python, and then this one is solid backwards, because solid snake. So, there's that. Ah, here you go, Two-Face. So I think this would be better for something like Girafarig. But I mean, it is true because it's a face pattern on its thing, and then it's got another face, so that works. But I think it's a better Girafarig nickname than an Arbok one. But if you want to use it for Arbok, you can. Alright, here you go. Trouser. So this was the one I went with, but I changed the spelling so that it more resembled trouser from ukulele, because the idea of trouser snake is like a clever, stupid little joke, but it also feels a little bit more subtle when you change the spelling, and it's like, yeah, but look, it's the guy from ukulele, so there's that. Again, you could apply that to any snake Pokemon you want, doesn't have to be Arbok, that's just the one I personally went with. I guess if you wanted to do Snape as well, to further the Harry Potter Slytherin thing, you could do that. Also, I gotta warn you, if you do read these threads, like, all of the replies to this are so cringeworthy. And it makes me feel bad. And that's why I'm afraid to ask people for suggestions, because I don't ever want to see stuff like this. This is terrible. Okay, Hissy Elliot actually makes me laugh. I think that one's really stupid, but really funny, so I don't hate that one. I wouldn't use it, but I think it's just funny. Now, I actually kind of like this one for the biblical significance. It's not something I'm typically crazy about. I don't really obsess over or whatever, but I do think it's kind of cool, just as a nod that I think most people would understand. Ouroboros I kind of like too. I didn't know it. Okay, I wanted to check just to make sure I wasn't talking my ass. It's the snake eating its tail, and That's clever. I'll be honest. I never knew what that was before Resident Evil 5, so I kind of associate it more with that. But it's still a pretty good name that you could apply to just about any snake Pokemon you want to. Okay, well yeah, here you go. You can see my little suggestion of Trouser. I don't know what kind of doofus put Cubo in there. I don't like you. Arbok doesn't sound really good, but I guess if you want Arky. Arky is like a weird noise a dog makes if it can't bark properly. There's Starbox. Alright, well I looked through, and unfortunately these ones that are good nicknames and clever nicknames weren't really anything there. So, yeah. And if we go to the spreadsheet, also just proving real quick, I did click on everything. Sometimes you'll see like this, and it'll be like, oh, well, you didn't click on that? Well, the reason is because if I do click on it, it's just going to bring me right back here. But anyway, the spreadsheet doesn't really have anything good on it either, unfortunately. So, that's it as far as Arbok. Honestly, I don't think it was a total bust. I think there were some that were actually pretty decent. My personal choice, again, I stick with Trouser. I just liked it. I just thought it was funny. And that's my kind of humor, where it's like, it's subtle. Hissy Elliott I thought was pretty funny. Ouroboros, that's a good one. I mean, a lot of these you could probably apply to just about anyone. You could do any sort of thing. It's Harry Potter, Slytherin, Snape, Severus, Salazar, whatever. Voldemort I saw a couple times. Like, you could do that if you wanted to. Two-Face I still think would be better for Girafarig, but if you wanted to use it for Arbok, you could as well. So it's like, it wasn't a total bust, but yeah, there you go. That's Ekans and Arbok.